This message is not for everyone. It's for God's chosen ones, those marked before birth for extraordinary impact. If you've been feeling an unexplainable stirring in your spirit lately, if you've been attacked without reason, if doors keep closing despite your faithfulness, stop scrolling. Heaven sent this message directly to you. God's chosen ones, the time has come to unlock your gift and step into your billionaire potential. Listen closely. What you carry isn't just another talent. It's a divine endowment with billion-dollar impact. The restlessness you feel isn't confusion, it's activation. The pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. Heaven has been tracking your faithfulness, while hell has been monitoring your potential. Chosen one. Before we go deeper, pause for a moment. If this message is already speaking to your spirit, don't just watch silently. Subscribe now so you don't miss the confirmations God sends your way. You know how the enemy tries to distract you right when you need a word the most. Your struggles weren't random. The isolation, the betrayal, the financial battles, the confusion about your path, all of it was permitted to build your capacity for what's coming next. God never wastes pain. He converts it to power. The enemy fought you hardest in the areas of your greatest calling. That relationship that ended suddenly, that opportunity that vanished overnight, that inexplicable resistance from family members. These weren't coincidences. They were strategic attacks against your assignment. But hear this clearly. What was meant to destroy you was actually positioning you. You've felt it. The supernatural intelligence in areas you never studied. The business ideas that wake you at night. The solutions that come when you pray. The sudden clarity about problems others can't solve. This isn't human wisdom. This is heaven, downloading billion-dollar insight into your spirit. God is saying, enough hiding, enough doubting, enough playing small. Your billionaire potential isn't just about money. It's about impact. It's about kingdom funding. It's about generational transformation through your obedience. Many won't understand this elevation. They'll question your worthiness. They'll doubt your ability. They'll whisper about your past. But remember, Noah looked foolish until the rain started. Joseph seemed delusional until the famine came. David appeared insignificant until Goliath fell. Heaven is confirming. Your gift is real. Your calling is confirmed. Your elevation is non-negotiable. The awakening has begun. The dormant gifts are activating. The divine connections are approaching. The supernatural provision is being released. God's chosen ones aren't selected by accident. You were built for this moment. The isolation you've been experiencing isn't punishment. It's protection. God is strategically removing you from environments, relationships, and mindsets that cannot contain your next level. This divine separation feels painful, but it's actually mercy. Not everyone around you has the capacity or intention to support your elevation. Some connections were only seasonal. Some relationships were assigned to develop specific areas of your character. Some environments were temporary training grounds, never permanent destinations. When God begins elevating His chosen ones, He first creates sacred distance. Remember Joseph's journey. Before the palace came the pit and the prison. Both were necessary separation phases. Both felt like rejection, but were actually protection. You've noticed it happening in your own life. Conversations that once energized now drain you. People who once seemed aligned now feel foreign. Environments that once felt comfortable now feel constraining. This isn't just emotion, it's divine redirection. The enemy will use this separation season to whisper abandonment, rejection, and failure. He'll point to others prospering in community while you walk alone. He'll highlight everyone who misunderstands your journey. Don't fall for this distraction. Your separation isn't isolation. It's preparation for elevation. God separates what He's about to anoint. He extracts what He's about to exalt. He hides what He's about to showcase. During this divine separation, your spiritual senses are being sharpened. You're developing discernment that will protect your billion-dollar calling. You're learning to distinguish God's voice from every counterfeit. You're gaining wisdom that no university can teach. This separation also reveals who truly belongs in your future. Notice who respects your growth process without demanding explanations. Notice who speaks life even when they don't understand your vision. Notice who remains loyal during your wilderness when there's no benefit to them. The pain of misunderstanding is forming necessary calluses on your spirit. The loneliness is developing your dependence on divine guidance. The quiet is teaching you to hear heaven's frequency. Soon, this separation will make perfect sense. The connections God is forming in secret will emerge publicly. The vision that only you can see will manifest for all to witness. The gifts developed in isolation will function flawlessly under pressure. Divine separation always precedes divine elevation. Embrace it fully. When the attacks increased without warning, when obstacles appeared from nowhere, when doors closed despite your obedience, that wasn't random opposition. That was targeted warfare against your divine assignment. The enemy doesn't waste resources fighting ordinary believers. The level of resistance reveals the level of your calling. The intensity of the battle exposes the value of what you carry. Understand this divine principle. The enemy saw your potential before you did. While you questioned your worth, darkness organized against your future. While you doubted your calling, spiritual forces gathered to block your elevation. This wasn't because you lacked faith. It was because you carry something heaven endorsed and hell threatened. Pay careful attention to where opposition is strongest in your life. Is it your health, your finances, your relationships, your peace of mind, your focus? That specific battleground reveals your assignment. The enemy attacks what threatens his agenda most directly. Those who carry billion-dollar callings face billion-level warfare. The resistance isn't punishment, it's confirmation. The opposition isn't evidence of God's absence, it's proof of your importance to His purposes. Notice how the attacks intensified after moments of clarity, after prophetic confirmations, after you finally embraced your worth. That timing wasn't coincidental. When you align with heaven's perspective about your value, you activate both divine assistance and demonic attention. Those inexplicable betrayals, those sudden health challenges, those financial setbacks, those relationships that turned overnight, all strategic attempts to abort your assignment before manifestation. But here's what your enemies never understood. God factored their opposition into His plan for you. Their resistance built your resilience. Their rejection refined your direction. Their attacks authenticated your anointing. God allowed certain battles because you needed specific victories on your resume. You needed to develop authority over the very forces that will oppose your billion-dollar assignment. The warfare you've endured wasn't just about survival. It was specialized training. Like David facing the lion and bear before Goliath, you've been defeating private enemies that prepared you for public victory. From now on, see every attack differently. When opposition comes, whisper, "Thank you for confirming my calling. Thank you for revealing my assignment. Thank you for proving my threat level to darkness." Your enemies aren't obstacles to your destiny. They're unwitting participants in your elevation story. Have you noticed abilities emerging that you never studied for? Solutions appearing in your mind for problems you shouldn't understand? Ideas awakening that connect dots others can't even see? This isn't coincidence. It's activation of your uncommon gifts. God plants billion-dollar potential inside chosen vessels long before activation. What feels like sudden ability is actually dormant gifting awakening right on schedule. The timing isn't random, it's divine. These emerging gifts often make no logical sense. They don't align with your education. They don't match your background. They don't connect to your industry experience. That misalignment is by design. It ensures all glory returns to God, not human preparation. You've felt it happening. Supernatural insight into market trends, divine creativity solving impossible problems, heavenly wisdom navigating complex situations. This isn't just talent, it's anointed capacity that exceeds natural ability. Notice how these gifts often operate most powerfully in unusual moments, during prayer, in dreams, in quiet reflection, in seeming failure. This pattern reveals their source. Human abilities strengthen through practice. Divine endowments activate through surrender. What separates billion-dollar callings from mere success stories is this supernatural edge. While others rely solely on research, you receive revelation. While others depend on connections, you access divine direction. While others follow trends, you create them through heavenly downloads. The marketplace desperately needs what you carry. Systems are failing. Conventional solutions are proving inadequate. Global challenges are intensifying. Your uncommon gifts weren't designed just for personal prosperity. They're answers to collective crises that only heaven-inspired innovation can solve. These emerging gifts also explain the warfare you've faced. The enemy recognizes divine potential before manifestation. He sees the market disruption your obedience will cause. He understands how your gifts will transfer wealth from darkness to light. Embrace these emerging abilities without apology or hesitation. Stop diminishing what God is magnifying. Stop explaining away what heaven is highlighting. Stop hiding what the Creator is revealing. Your uncommon gifts aren't burdens to manage, they're weapons to wield. They're not quirks to minimize, they're callings to maximize. They're not random talents, they're divine solutions encrypted within your unique design. The emergence of these gifts signals your elevation season has begun. What was hidden is being revealed. What was dormant is awakening. What was promised is manifesting. Your billion-dollar assignment requires billion-level gifting. Heaven is ensuring you're equipped. Every chosen vessel must endure the wilderness before entering their promised land. This season of apparent nothingness isn't punishment. It's sacred preparation for what's coming next. The wilderness feels empty, but it's actually full of divine purpose. Look at Moses, 40 years in desert isolation before leading a nation. Look at David, years hiding in caves before wearing his crown. Look at Jesus, 40 days fasting in solitude before public ministry. This pattern isn't coincidence, it's divine strategy. Your wilderness season has felt endless. Prayers that seem unanswered, promises that remain unfulfilled, potential that stays dormant, days blending into months, months stretching into years. But heaven's timing isn't broken, it's precise. This delay isn't denial, it's development. God isn't withholding your blessing, He's expanding your capacity to steward it. A billion-dollar calling requires billion-dollar character. That depth forms only through pressure, patience, and perseverance. In the wilderness, you're learning to hear God's voice without interference. You're developing faith that functions without evidence. You're building courage that stands without support. You're cultivating wisdom that operates without applause. Notice what's being exposed in this season: pride, fear, people-pleasing, impatience, entitlement. These internal enemies could sabotage your elevation if not addressed before promotion. The wilderness strips away what would limit your impact. Every test you're facing is building specific strength for future challenges. Financial pressure is teaching stewardship. Relationship disappointments are teaching discernment. Health battles are teaching dependence. Professional setbacks are teaching humility. Nothing is wasted. Remember, the length of your preparation reveals the size of your assignment. Depth before height. Character before charisma. Substance before success. Your wilderness won't last forever. The exact moment your character aligns with your calling, a divine acceleration begins. Suddenly, years of preparation activate in a moment of opportunity. Suddenly, hidden faithfulness transforms into visible favor. Suddenly, private obedience becomes public blessing. Don't despise these wilderness days. Don't resent this character formation. Don't rush what God is perfecting. The very delays you question now will make perfect sense when your billion-dollar calling manifests. Chosen one, I see you nodding in agreement. This message is confirming what your spirit already knows. Don't let this divine moment pass without responding. Subscribe now, not for my sake, but because God is establishing connections for your next season. Your obedience in small things opens doors to greater revelation. The most painful attacks against your destiny haven't come from strangers. They've come from familiar faces, people you trusted, people you invested in, people you believed were divinely connected to your future. This betrayal has cut deeper than any external opposition. What you're experiencing isn't random heartbreak. It's strategic revelation. God is allowing masks to slip before your elevation. He's exposing hidden agendas before they can sabotage your billion-dollar assignment. What feels like abandonment is actually divine protection. Pay careful attention to who becomes uncomfortable with your growth. Notice who subtly undermines your confidence. Notice who questions your calling but frames it as concern. Notice who celebrates your failures more enthusiastically than your victories. These responses reveal hidden alignments that human discernment might miss. Some betrayals were orchestrated by darkness to stop you. Others were permitted by God to redirect you. Either way, they serve a purpose in your elevation story. Joseph needed his brother's betrayal to reach his Egyptian assignment. David needed Saul's jealousy to develop his leadership muscles. Jesus needed Judas to fulfill his redemptive purpose. The people who walked away weren't stolen from you. They were separated from you. The opportunities that vanished through betrayal weren't your best path. They were detours disguised as destinations. The relationships that turned cold weren't your true covering. They were counterfeits concealing genuine connections. God allowed certain betrayals because you needed freedom more than you needed comfort. You needed truth more than you needed agreement. You needed authentic alignment more than you needed artificial acceptance. These painful revelations have actually been protecting your future. Imagine reaching your place of influence with hidden enemies in your inner circle. Imagine accessing your billion-dollar assignment surrounded by motives you couldn't discern. The damage would be devastating. Instead, God is cleaning house before furnishing it. He's purifying your connections before expanding your reach. He's testing loyalty while the stakes are still manageable. The betrayal you've experienced has also revealed your own heart. It's exposed where you placed unhealthy trust in people instead of God. It's highlighted where you compromised your calling for acceptance. It's revealed where fear of rejection influenced your decisions. This revelation isn't just about others. It's about preparing you to steward relationships wisely in your next season. Billion-dollar callings attract both genuine supporters and strategic saboteurs. Discerning the difference becomes non-negotiable. Listen. I know you're watching quietly, just taking everything in. But chosen ones like you don't come across these messages by accident. If this is touching your soul, hit that subscribe button. Don't keep walking through spiritual warfare alone when a whole family of chosen ones is right here with you. As you draw closer to your breakthrough, the warfare around you has intensified beyond anything you've previously experienced. This isn't coincidental. It's confirmation. The enemy never wastes resources fighting battles that don't threaten his agenda. The increased opposition signals your proximity to manifestation. Notice how the attacks have become more sophisticated. No longer just external obstacles, but internal doubts. No longer just circumstantial challenges, but emotional warfare. No longer just random setbacks, but targeted strikes against your faith, peace, health, relationships, and focus. The enemy has studied your patterns. He knows when you're most vulnerable. He understands your trigger points. He recognizes which voices you trust. That's why doubt now comes packaged in familiar accents, through respected leaders, loved ones, and even your own thoughts. Pay attention to the timing of these intensified attacks. They often follow moments of clarity, experience. Your words will carry undeniable authority. Every fruit-bearing vine must endure necessary pruning. The cutting away feels like punishment, but it's actually preparation for multiplication. This season of divine removal in your life isn't rejection. It's strategic refinement before your billion-dollar harvest. Look closely at what God has been removing. Relationships that can't support your next level. Opportunities that would distract from your true calling. Habits that limit your capacity. Mindsets that restrict your vision. Even gifts that once served their purpose but now would hinder your elevation. This great pruning feels painful because genuine attachment existed. These weren't obviously harmful connections or clearly destructive patterns. Many were good things, blessed things, even anointed things in their proper season. Their removal creates genuine grief, legitimate confusion, and natural resistance. But God sees what you cannot see. Every no is protecting a greater yes. Every closed door is directing you toward your true assignment. Every relationship transition is creating space for divine connections. Every delayed opportunity is preventing premature exposure. Notice the divine mercy in this pruning process. God removes what we lack courage to release. He transitions what we would cling to out of fear or familiarity. He closes what we would enter out of ambition rather than assignment. This intervention protects us from our own limited perspective. Remember the pattern throughout Scripture. Abraham had to leave Ur before receiving his promise. Moses had to exit Egypt before discovering his purpose. David had to depart the palace before developing his leadership. Jesus instructed his disciples to shake off the dust of rejecting cities rather than lingering where no fruit would come. This divine pruning also reveals what truly remains after everything shakeable has been shaken. The relationships still standing have been tested and proven. The opportunities still available align with your authentic calling. The open doors lead to your genuine assignment, not impressive distractions. The very areas experiencing most dramatic pruning often indicate your greatest fruitfulness. The enemy doesn't fight hardest where you're weakest. He fights hardest where you're most threatening to his agenda. The intensity of removal often reveals the importance of that territory in your future. Stop right here. If you haven't subscribed yet, ask yourself why. Every time you search for clarity, every time you feel overwhelmed, God guides you to messages like this. Don't reject what heaven is trying to give you. Subscribe so you stay connected to the voice that lifts you when no one else does. God doesn't just change your circumstances, He transforms your thinking. What's happening in your mind right now isn't just personal development, it's divine renovation. The old thought patterns that kept you bound to limitation are being demolished, replaced with kingdom thinking that can sustain your billion-dollar calling. Notice how differently you perceive money, influence, and success compared to a year ago. That shift wasn't accidental, it was intentional heavenly reprogramming. The lies you inherited about wealth being evil, about staying small being holy, about poverty being noble, all of them are falling away as truth illuminates your understanding. Generational ceilings installed by family history are being shattered by divine revelation. Where your bloodline stopped, you will advance. Where your ancestors feared, you will pioneer. Where your family settled, you will soar. This isn't pride, it's purpose. This isn't rebellion, it's redemption. Your mind is being expanded to hold billion-dollar vision without shrinking it to fit past experience. You're beginning to think beyond survival and maintenance into multiplication and dominion. You're shifting from enough for me to abundance for many. This expanded capacity is essential for what God is entrusting to you. Old money wounds are being healed. The shame, the fear, the guilt, the scarcity, the unworthiness. These emotional barriers once blocked heavenly provision, creating invisible resistance to the very blessing you prayed for. As these wounds heal, your capacity to receive increases exponentially. The transformation happening now is deeper than affirmations or positive thinking. It's revelation, rewiring neural pathways. It's truth overriding deception at the root level. It's divine perspective replacing human limitation. This depth ensures the change will be permanent, not temporary. You're learning to think like a steward rather than an owner. You're understanding wealth as responsibility rather than indulgence. You're seeing abundance as assignment rather than achievement. This perspective shift protects your heart from the corruption that destroys many when blessing arrives. What God is changing in your thinking now is preparing you for what He's bringing to your hands soon. The mindset transformation always precedes the material manifestation. The internal shift creates capacity for the external blessing. You'll know this transformation is complete when money loses its emotional grip on you, when you can have it without needing it, when you can manage it without serving it, when you can multiply it without hoarding it. This freedom is the foundation of true kingdom wealth. The season of supernatural provision has been activated in your life. After years of just enough, just in time, heaven is releasing abundance beyond calculation. This isn't prosperity gospel, it's kingdom economics. This isn't name it, claim it. It's divine authorization for assignment advancement. Pay careful attention to how this provision arrives, not through striving, manipulation, or exhaustion, but through divine orchestration, unexpected connections, and heavenly alignment. The ease distinguishes it from human achievement. The timing reveals divine fingerprints. The precision confirms heavenly backing. Resources that were blocked are suddenly flowing. People who wouldn't return your calls are suddenly reaching out. Opportunities previously denied are suddenly presented. doors long closed are suddenly opening. This acceleration isn't coincidental. It's supernatural intervention timed to your assignment schedule. Notice who God is connecting you with. Individuals carrying pieces of your destiny puzzle. These divine introductions aren't random networking, they're strategic alignments. Each person brings something essential: wisdom, opportunity, resource, protection, skill, or influence. Together, you'll accomplish what none could do alone. Some provision comes as unexpected money, sudden contracts, surprise refunds, unanticipated opportunities, miraculous debt cancellation. Other provision appears as divine ideas worth millions, solutions to problems, innovations for industries, strategies for advancement. Still, other provision manifests as supernatural favor, decision-makers choosing you despite stronger credentials, gatekeepers granting access without explanation. What distinguishes this supernatural provision from worldly success is its connection to purpose. This isn't blessing for comfort, it's resource for assignment. Every dollar carries divine intention. Every connection serves kingdom advancement. Every opportunity aligns with heavenly calling. The multiplication effect on this provision will confuse natural minds. What should take years will manifest in months. What typically requires millions will materialize with thousands. What normally demands large teams will happen through small alignments. This supernatural efficiency announces God's involvement. This provision isn't arriving because you're special. It's arriving because you're assigned. It's not reward for perfection. It's resource for purpose. It's not about your comfort. It's about kingdom advancement. This understanding keeps your heart pure as abundance flows. Some provision you'll steward temporarily, directing it toward its divine purpose, then releasing it. Other provision you'll manage long-term, building sustainable systems that outlast you. All of it requires wisdom beyond natural understanding, which is why God developed your character before releasing the resource. The confidence you feel as this provision manifests isn't pride in achievement, but assurance in divine backing. You're not wondering if God will provide. You're watching how He provides, learning His patterns, recognizing His timing, and stewarding His purposes. What God is about to do will leave no doubt about His hand on your life. The hidden plots against your elevation are being exposed. The secret meetings discussing your downfall are being revealed. The masked enemies pretending support while planning sabotage are being unveiled. This isn't human revenge, it's divine justice preparing the way for your billion-dollar assignment. God never exposes enemies for drama, He exposes them for protection. Before elevating you to unprecedented influence, He's cleaning house. Before entrusting you with billion-dollar responsibility, He's revealing who can and cannot be trusted with access to your next level. Watch closely as situations shift suddenly. Those who plotted in darkness find themselves standing in unexpected light. Those who spread rumors face their own words returning. Those who blocked your advancement mysteriously lose their position of interference. Those who rejected your gift now need what you carry. This reversal isn't coincidence. It's heavenly vindication. This exposure serves multiple purposes. It removes obstacles to your advancement. It validates your spiritual discernment when you sensed opposition but couldn't prove it. It warns others against interfering with heaven's chosen. It creates undeniable testimony of divine protection surrounding your calling. You won't need to defend yourself during this season. You won't need to fight back or respond to accusations. You won't even need to explain your side of the story. As you remain focused on your assignment, God Himself becomes your advocate, revealing truth with a clarity that silences opposition. Some exposures will shock you. People you trusted, supported, and defended revealed as assignment blockers. Other exposures will confirm what your spirit already knew, validating that subtle uneasiness you couldn't explain when certain names were mentioned. All exposures serve your protection. This isn't just about individuals being exposed, it's about systems being revealed. Corrupt structures that prevented your access, biased processes that denied your opportunity, flawed foundations that couldn't support genuine innovation. All of them face divine inspection before your elevation. Former enemies will become footstools for your advancement. Their opposition becomes the platform for your elevation. Their rejection highlights your selection. Their dismissal emphasizes your divine endorsement. What they meant for harm, God transforms into stepping stones toward your billion-dollar impact. This exposure isn't punishment, it's preparation. It isn't vengeance, it's vindication. It isn't destruction, it's direction. The clearing away of opposition signals your imminent elevation. The true purpose behind your billion-dollar calling isn't personal wealth, it's kingdom influence. God isn't elevating you to improve your lifestyle, but to increase your impact. This distinction separates those who simply acquire wealth from those divinely positioned as kingdom financiers and cultural transformers. Your influence is being activated in multiple spheres simultaneously. Not just business, but education. Not just finance, but media. Not just technology, but governance. Not just commerce, but culture. This multidimensional impact explains the intensity of your preparation. You're being equipped to transform systems, not just succeed within them. The wealth coming to your hands isn't meant for display but deployment. It's not for consumption but commission. It's not for accumulation but activation. Every dollar carries assignment. Every resource holds purpose. Every connection contains commission. This kingdom perspective protects both the blessing and the blessed. Your emerging influence will create access previously denied to believers. Where doors remained closed to traditional ministry, your marketplace authority will create pathways. Where spiritual language faced rejection, your excellence will establish credibility. Where religious approaches failed, your innovative solutions will be welcomed. God is strategically positioning you where decisions are made, where culture is shaped, where resources are allocated, where futures are determined. This isn't random success, it's divine placement. You're becoming His voice in rooms where truth has been silenced, His hands in systems where corruption has dominated, His heart in structures where compassion has been forgotten. Notice how differently influence operates compared to mere success. Success focuses on personal achievement. Influence prioritizes others' advancement. Success builds personal kingdoms. Influence extends God's kingdom. Success accumulates for self-security. Influence allocates for community transformation. This kingdom perspective distinguishes divine elevation from human ambition. The influence being activated now will affect generations beyond your lifetime. The systems you transform, the innovations you introduce, the wealth you generate, the leaders you develop, all create legacy impact that outlasts your earthly assignment. This generational effect explains the thoroughness of your preparation. Your kingdom influence becomes a weapon against darkness, displacing corrupt leadership, redirecting misused resources, restoring ethical foundations, reclaiming territory for divine purposes. This spiritual impact explains the intense opposition you faced. Darkness doesn't fight hardest against personal blessing, but against kingdom advancement. What feels like sudden elevation has been heaven's plan all along. Your name has been associated with this influence since before birth. Your assignment was established before your first breath. Your impact was ordained before your first step. What God is building through you isn't just for your lifetime. It's for generations beyond your years. The billion-dollar calling on your life creates impact that outlasts your physical presence. This eternal perspective transforms how you build, what you pursue, and why you persist despite opposition. The legacy you're establishing breaks generational curses that limited your bloodline for centuries. Where poverty was inherited, you introduce abundance. Where addiction controlled, you establish freedom. Where division destroyed, you create unity. Where mediocrity defined, you set standards of excellence. This reversal isn't just personal achievement, it's divine restoration of original design. Every faithful choice you make today forms foundation stones for your children's children. Every spiritual battle you win clears territory for future generations. Every system you transform creates kingdom access points long after you're gone. This multiplication effect explains the intensity of your preparation. What's being built through you isn't temporary, but eternal. The wealth flowing through your hands carries assignment beyond material blessing. It funds kingdom initiatives that change cultural landscapes. It supports innovations that solve global challenges. It enables mercy ministries that transform communities. It launches leaders who influence nations. This purpose-driven prosperity distinguishes divine elevation from mere success. Watch how differently God builds compared to human effort. Worldly wealth often disappears within 3 generations. Earned by the first, maintained by the second, lost by the third. But kingdom wealth, stewarded with wisdom, compounds through time, transforming family identity, community structure, and cultural influence for centuries. This billionaire legacy requires different metrics of success. Your impact isn't measured by account balances, but by lives changed. Your return isn't calculated in percentages, but in purpose fulfilled. Your profit isn't counted in dollars, but in destiny realized. This heavenly accounting system keeps your heart anchored in eternal value while managing earthly resource. Some chosen ones miss their greatest calling by focusing on immediate gratification rather than eternal impact. They build impressive enterprises that collapse after their departure. They amass personal fortunes that divide their families after death. They achieve momentary fame that fades with changing trends. But you've been shown a different path, building with eternity in mind. The legacy you establish becomes living proof that God's promises endure. Your journey from obscurity to influence, from rejection to impact, from limitation to abundance, becomes testimony that encourages others to trust divine guidance. Your billionaire calling was never just about you. It was about revealing God's faithfulness to a watching world. Before you go, chosen one, don't forget, the fact that you made it to the end of this message means something. Your spirit needed this. Don't walk away without subscribing. It costs nothing, but it means everything for the journey God is taking you on. Join the family. Your breakthrough might be in the next video.